got these people and they've arrived and you're just getting to know them. You know, you're just really in partnership with these humans who right now you're the adult and you know more about how to navigate this world, but in a very short amount of time, you're going to be adults with them, they're going to be adults and you're going to be adults and you're still going to be their parent, but you're not going to be parenting them the same way. And so the question is, how do you set things up now and how do you help them along in a way that both gives them as much guidance of how to be a person in this world that holds values that you feel are important, and how do you create connection and relationship so that down the road you guys really still want to hang out and you know, have good times together. Because I know a lot of people have that in adulthood, but a lot of people don't. And so the question is, what do you do now to create that? Because it doesn't just happen later, it happens now.
So a lot of times people come to me and they're like, what do I do when they're melting down and I need to discipline? And I say, that's not my business, that's somebody else's business. My business is connection. That's what I'm invested in. I want to help people figure out ways when things are rolling, how do you amp it up? How do you go with the, how do you appreciate and savor and see and open your eyes and open your heart to like the miracle? Like, these people didn't exist and they came out of your body or your partner's body and now they're these people that have these lives. That's miraculous. Like, all the other stuff that we worry about, we need to just every once in a while pull back from and see it from that perspective of like, this is miraculous. The fact that we are all together is miraculous. So, you know, when things are rolling, appreciate, 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 appreciate. Like, go almost crazy with that. Overtly, privately, make lists. And when things are rocky, which they will be, and they need to be, that is inevitable. Because that's what happens when people grow, things go off balance. And so the key there is building the skills to steady, get low and slow, and not let your mind start taking you on that adventure of like, where is this going? What's going to happen when they're 20 and they'll never have this? And you got to like, stop.
But you can't give them 30 minutes to just go be.
Right, but you can acknowledge that they might want that. You don't need to, but you might say, man, you've had a long day and we're all really tired and this is really hard and we just got this couple last things we have to get done. Let's go, team. You know, like, if you can acknowledge it, sometimes that helps. I mean, you probably already do this, but if you can get them a cheese stick while you're driving home, just so you're not sitting down with giantly hungry people, you know, that can be a big game changer, and husband can have a little nuts in his car too to put in there, you know, like, I mean, it sounds like you guys need to sort of sit down, probably as a couple first, and talk a little bit about it, and then bring them into it and say, this isn't working, is this feeling good to anybody? And not while it's happening. It has to be done separately, like, family meals are something that we really value and it feels important, and it's not fun when we're not all enjoying it or even civil to each other. So what can we try? What can we experiment with? And they might say, if we eat outside, it's better. And you could be like, all right, we can eat outside sometimes. Or they could say, if we could just be quiet for 2 minutes before we start engaging, let's try that. You know, I know a family that does a little Tibetan singing bowl, and as soon as it gets dinged, everybody's quiet. And then there's usually one person that is designated as like, okay, tell us when it's over. And just that like 30 seconds of calm can shift some of the energy. And so that would be a couple things. And then, you know, the truth of the matter is the person learning this stuff, usually, you know, I mean, the parent is, you're the regulator, like you're setting the tone. So you really want to start examining, like, what am I bringing to this? Am I going into it going, this is going to be a miserable dinner, you know, or are you like, all right, we've got tired, hungry people, you know, like, what's the perspective that the person who is aware is bringing? Because that can shift things too. And it doesn't mean you're Pollyannaing it, but you could say, all right, for a week, I'm just going to start noticing what am I bringing and how does this all go down? And then you could just in the next week, just start making these little micro shifts and realizing like, oh, you know, we just need to do it a little differently. So the other thing that you could try, and this, you know, I talk about, you know, giving them emotional snacks. So while you're driving home, if, you know, I don't know what they need. Do they need quiet? Do they need singing? Like you will know that. But really thinking about how can I give them a little eye to eye, skin to skin, heart to heart. And heart to heart could mean you're just sitting in the car going, I love these people. I love these people. I love these people. Like, you know, or wow, I'm really freaking out right now. I'm tuning into myself. This is really intense. But like, how can you fuel these very drained nervous systems at that time of day? Maybe that's your question, is like, because what's happening at dinner is the flint has already been lit, and they are sitting down and the bomb is just going off, and that's not really when you have the most effect on the situation. You need to be thinking like, how are we doing pickup? Are we connecting, or are we just sort of all swirling at that point, thinking about how we're gonna get dinner on the table? But even if you took 2 seconds to just slow yourself down and look them in the eye just slightly differently when you get back together, that could change things because it gets enough juice in their cup that the bomb isn't as likely to go off. It's a lot of just play. You're just going to have to play with it and start to experiment because there's no prescription. There's just an understanding from a new perspective that you just want to start digging into.